Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a very simple bangle bracelet. This is a very easy, fun, satisfying bangle to make because of how it's made. You're just going around and around, and I like it a lot. So there's going to be 3 different stages where you can stop at as we're working on this, where the bracelet could be thin, and if you like it there you could stop, and then I do another couple rounds, and if you like then it will be a little bit wider after the next few rounds, and if you like it that way you can stop there, or you can go all the way and use all of the beads that I'm doing here to fully deck out your bangle. But it's totally up to you on what stage you want to stop at in this bangle. And there are 2 beads here. Like, a lot of these beads are common. A lot of you are going to have these in your stash, but there are 2 beads here that some of you might not have, and that's the 5mm melons and the 2mm round beads. These beads here are used on the very last row around the edge of the bracelet, and if you don't have these in your stash, you can do an alternative for these. And basically, when we go to do this row, you just want to take your thread from one bead to the next bead that's already in the bracelet, and you just want it to be straight. If you make it where you have it too tight, then this bangle will curve on you, and the bangle will become smaller, which means you probably won't be able to wear it. So when I get to that point where I do these and these, I'll talk about bead alternatives then, because it would make more sense than now, because I don't have a finished piece to show you guys at this point to better explain what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and go over the material list. You're going to need 7 feet of 8-pound fireline, and you will also need 26mm Czech fire polish beads, and I'm using 45mm Czech melon beads. Now, for an alternative for this, I think you could get away with 4mm on the outside edge, or you could probably just do some 3mm and some seed beads, but you would have to play around with the amount to get it just right. So I'll go over more on that later. You're also going to need 44mm Czech fire polish beads. Now, I'm doing 2 colors. If you have 84mm Czech fire polish beads in your stash that are all the same color, go for it. But because I'm working from a box, I had to do 2 different colors of the 4mm size. So I have 40 of the green and 40 of this color here. You're also going to need 43mm Czech fire polish beads and 80 2mm round beads. Now, if you don't have these in your stash, you might be able to do 80 seed beads or 10 Czech seed beads, or maybe even Toho 11s, because Toho 11s are bigger than Miyuki 11s. So I'll go over again more on alternatives when you get to the very last row on what you could do if you don't have 3 and 2mm beads in your stash. And you're also going to need 11 seed beads. I'm using Miyuki, but you can also use Czech for this. Don't use Toho in place of this one though, because it will alter your bracelet. You do need a Miyuki for this, or a Czech seed bead. And I'm also using a size 10 beading needle, and I'm using tulip. That's my favorite. And this is the list of materials, and again, I will link the list of materials down there below in the description bar, and I will also have notes on alternative beads for these here. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is pick up a 6mm round bead, an 11-0, a 3mm, and an 11-0. Just like this, and I'm going to repeat this right here until I run out of 6mm beads. Okay? So I will fast forward this, because this is what I am doing right here. This simple pattern over and over and over until you use up all 20 of your 6mm Czech fire polish beads. Okay? So keep going doing this. As you can see, I picked up all 20 of my 6mm beads, but I start with a 6mm and I end with the 11 3mm and the 11 seed bead. And I'm going to slide these down Okay, till I have short tail. Here's my tail. Now what you're going to want to do is take your needle, pass it through this 6mm bead, okay, for sizing purposes is why we're doing this. Okay, you want to hold it like this, your threads, make sure this is tight, wrap this around, and try this on, okay? And if it fits you, then you're good to go. But if you need to add a little bit more, what you would just do is add a 6mm. You would add this here. You would add this pattern again, okay? And then do this again, pass through that bead, try this on. But mine fits me. Okay, I know it fits me because I already made this, took it apart. So now what I have to do is take my needle and back out of this because I have to tie a knot. Okay, so I have this, and I want to try and leave a 6 to 8 inch knot. I'll do 6 inch knot, or 6 inch tail, I mean. Okay, right here. So slide the beads down to here, and then I'm just going to hold this spot and tie under and over like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it twice because this is a surgeon's knot, like that, and bring this down. Okay, pull this tight. Okay, but we don't want it so tight where it's extremely stiff. We want it to be flexible, and mine's pretty flexible, but I don't see like a huge gap of space, so that's pretty good. Now what we have to do, take the needle, okay, right here's our knot, and I'm going to pass through our pattern. So I go just like this and come out, not the seed bead, come out the 6mm like that. Okay, because we have to get away from that knot before we can add more beads. It's something you kind of always want to do when stitching. Okay, now we're coming out to 6. Now what I'm going to do is pick up an 11/0, a 3mm, an 11, like this, and I'm going to go through the next 6mm. Okay, so that this here is doubled, and I'm going to do this over and over all the way around until I come back to this bead here where we started. So again, pick up 11, a 3, and 11, and by that time you should be out of 3mm beads. So I'm going to go through the next 6 right here, and I will do this a few times with you guys so you understand what I'm doing in case you're new, and then I'll fast forward. Okay, so like that, there's 2 times, and again an 11, a 3, and an 11, like that, through this 6. I actually really like the second, what is going on with my needle? I actually really like the second stage of this. Right now, this is what the first stage looks like. So if you go all the way around and you meet up to the beginning, you can leave this bracelet or bangle just like that. Okay, I think it's cute just like this. But the second stage that I do, that one I really like, and I was kind of unsure if I should do the very last stage. But it does look even more beautiful with it all beaded up. So again, pick up an 11, a 3, and an 11, and go through the 6. Okay, it's as simple as that. So that all the way around you're going to do an 11, a 3, and 11 until you go back to the beginning where we started doing this, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way around, and I will be back. Okay, I'm on the last one, so I'm picking up my beads, and I'm going to go through this 6mm. Okay, but this time we are stepping up and we are going through an 11 and a 3. Just like this. Pull it tight. And there we go. So right here is stage 1. You can stop right here if you want to. You do not have to go any further. I really like how it looks right now. It's cute. But the second stage, I think that one is my favorite. So let's continue. That's my tail. Here is where I'm at. I'm coming out to 3, and I'm going to pick up a 4, an 11, and a 4. Just like that. And by the way, all of these beads here that I'm using are from the dollar bead box, except for my seed beads. I forgot to mention it. I usually do. And I like all the colors together. They're pretty. Okay, so I'm skipping seed bead, 6mm seed bead, and I'm going through the next 3. And putting these beads on kind of makes this look like a flower to me. Okay, now I have to go to the second color because I don't have enough. I don't have 80 of these. I only have 50-50. So I'm going to my second color now. Oops, I keep picking up 2 seed beads today. A 4, an 11, and a 4. Skipping over these, I'm going through the next 3. Okay. Going through. I have this. Now I'm going to go back to this color. Okay, the green, a seed bead, and a green 4mm. Skipping over these, going through the next 3. Like that. And then this color again. A 4, an 11, and a 4. Okay, and then through the next 3. So again, as you can see, this is very easy project. Very simple. Just like that, I'm going to do my green again. So this is it. I'm going to continue doing this pattern all the way around, alternating between these 2 colors because I don't have 80 of one color, so I had to do 2 different colors. And then going through the next 3mm. Alright. So there it is again. I'm going to do this all the way around, and I will come back and show you what to do next. I've now made it all the way around, and I have one last area here to do, and it's going to be this color because I finished off with green. So a 6, an 11, and a 6, like this. Now I'm going to pass through this 3, right, like we usually do, but this time, because we went all the way around, we have to step up. So I'm going to go through the 3, 11, 6, through the 3, and the 3, 11, 6, 11, and the 3 on the left side of the bracelet. Not on this side, because we have to go to the side we have to do next. So over here, okay, pull that up, pull that tight. So the right side is now complete, and we have to do the left side. Now because I'm right-handed, it's annoying to hold the bracelet like this and work. So what I do is I just flip it like this to this side, okay, and then I work on this side of the bracelet, and we're just gonna mirror what we did on this side to this side. So pick up a 4, an 11, and a 4 like this, and skip over these 3 beads and go through the next 3. Okay, like that, and it kind of looks like a flower. Doesn't it kind of look like a flower? And then a 4, an 11, and a 4, and then through the next 3. I love these green Czech fire polish beads and the purple ones. See, just like that. I'm going to do this color here again. 3, 11, 3. So pretty simple, right? We're just copying the other side. Like that. Doesn't it kind of look like a flower? Kind of looks like a flower. One more time. A 4, an 11, into 4, through the 3. Right? So I'm going to keep going and doing this all the way around. And you could tell that this is flipped because you see how it's not flat? See how it's laying like that, my bracelet? So once I complete this row, I'm going to flip it again. And when I do that, it'll then be flat. Because there's like a top and a bottom, if that makes sense. And then we will do more stitching. Okay? And this, by the way, is phase 2. So if you wanted, you could stop right there. This is my favorite. I think this is so pretty. And it's very simple. But I'm going to show you how to do the entire bangle completely embellished. So keep on going and I will be back. Okay, we are now at the close, so I'm going to pick up my last 4, 11, and a 4, and go through right here where we started. Okay, like that. But I'm also going to go through the 11, through the 6, okay, and then I'm going to go through this 11, through the 3, through this 4, and out through the 11. Okay, and I have to flip my bracelet back in this direction so it lays flat, because it's kind of not flat. Now it's flat. Okay, pull this tight. I gotta figure out what my tail is doing. Okay, that's in the right spot. And there we go. So, like I said, this is the second phase here where you can stop if you wanted to. It's very pretty, just like this. I love it. But I'm gonna continue showing you how you can decorate this even further. So right now we're at the part where you can stop, tie this off. It looks great just like this. I really like it. It kind of looks like a new daisy chain stitch or something. But if you want, you can continue on, and you have 2 alternatives on what you can do. You can do what I'm going to do and do 11/0 seed beads, 2mm rounds, and 5mm melons. But maybe you don't have any 5mm in your stash, or 2mm. Those are kind of a rare size. I myself don't really have 2mm. Like if I go in my stash right now and try to find a 2mm round bead, I'm going to be looking forever, and I'm going to have a really hard time because I know I barely have any of these. I'm really limited on those, and 5mm too. I don't really have many of those. So anyways, what you can do as an alternative, first of all, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up a 2mm round, an 11/0, a melon, an 11/0, okay, and a 2mm round. I'm going to pick this up, go from this seed bead to that one. I'm going to do this all the way around. But if you don't have these beads in your stash, what you're going to pick up is 3 11/0 seed beads and a 4mm, and then 3 11/0s again. So the thing is, when you're doing the outside edge, the entire thing is you want to make this where you have enough point beads to get to this from this point to that point while making the bracelet stay flat. Because when I was designing this and I went to go do this area here, I put beads in and it wasn't enough beads, or the beads were too small, and this here started to dome. So instead of being flat, it was domed like a rainbow. That makes the bangle a lot smaller and it will not fit you. So the whole goal is to make it from this point to that point with enough beads so it kind of curves outward here and it's not making the bangle dome for you. So this is my sequence of beads that I'm going to do all the way around on the outer edge. And again, an alternative for you to do if you don't have a 2 and 5 millimeter melon is to do 3 11-0 seed beads and then a 4 millimeter bead like this bead here, and then 3 11-0s again. Okay, so I hope I was helpful to you and that made sense. And I'm just going to go through that seed bead right there. And I feel like these little pink 2 millimeter agates really make this look even prettier. Okay, again, I'm going to pick up a 2 millimeter, an 11-0, a melon, 11, and another 2 millimeter agate. And in case you didn't see Dollar Bead Box last month, there was a 15 or 16 inch strand of these in there. So a lot through that next seed bead. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna go again, same beads, an 11, a melon, an 11, and I should bring these closer to me because I can barely see. I can barely see them, the holes in them. It's like worse than an 11-0 seed bead. I guess because they're round. An 15-0s, I mean. 15-0s, you can see the hole because it stands up for you. And I'm not. So that's what that looks like so far. And I'm going to do it again. Okay. 2 millimeter, 11-0, a melon, an 11-0, and a 2 millimeter. Just like that, and to the next 11-0 right here in between the 4s. Okay, just like that. Very pretty. Okay, so do this all the way around until you get where you started, and I will come back and show you what to do next. Okay, I made it all the way around, and here I am at the close. So I have to come from this bead, pick up these, and then go through this here, or the alternative, like I said, 3 seed beads, 4 millimeter, 3 seed beads. And I'm going to go through this seed bead right here. Okay, pull this tight, and we're going to take a look at it. So do you see how mine is laying flat now? That's perfect. When you complete your row, okay, and you pull this tight, and this is curving on you, like this here seems smaller than the rest, that's the doming. It'll start doming on you. Okay, so that's what I was talking about earlier. Now, I'm going to go through this 4. I have to get over here on this side now. I'm going to go out of this 11, through this 4, through this 3, through the 11, and through the 6. If I can make it. Can I make it? Oh wow, I got through the 11. And then through there. That kind of seems like too much. I'm going to go like this. I don't want to pierce my thread. Okay. And then through the 6, the 11 and through the 3. Pull this tight as you go through this 4 and through the 11. Okay, now we are on this side. So again, I'm going to flip this and I'm going to bead on this side of the bracelet now. And I'm going to do the same pattern that I just did. A 2mm, an 11-0, a 5mm melon, 11-0, and a 2mm. Like that, and go through this seed bead. Okay, again, 2mm, 11, 5mm, 11, and a 2mm, and go through this seed bead. And I'm going to do this all the way around. We're just repeating the same thing we did on this side to this side now. So I'm going to keep going. Alright, I'm at the close. This is the very last area right here that I put my beads in. I got them strung on from this bead to this one. Okay, and pull that tight. And there we go. Our bangle is pretty much complete. We just have to tie knots. But that's what it looks like, and I have to flip mine. So I was working on this side, and I think I have to flip it this way now. If it doesn't feel flat, I think it's it. I could flip it the other way if it doesn't seem right, but yeah, that's it, correct. Okay, where's my thread coming out? Right here. Now here's the thing, we can't tie our knots in the outside row where I put those 2mm agate beads. Or no, it wasn't agate, it was a jade, pink jade. Because these holes are so darn small, I can't pass through them again with my needle and the thread. So I have to tie my knots in here with the 4mm and a 3mm Czech fire polish beads, okay? So I'm going to be zigzagging like this, tying knots. So what I do is I tie a knot, I pass through a bead, pass through this bead, tie a knot, pass through this bead, go through that bead, tie a knot, pass through this bead. I just like to tie my knots in front of the 4mm beads, so pull this tight, pass the needle down through here, okay, and then up through here. I'm going to pull this snug there because it's loosening up on me, and I have to pass through my loop twice, 1 and 2. And bring this knot down right here. Okay, pull that tight, and then pass through this bead to hide my knot. Pull the knot through, go through this one. Okay, and then I could tie another knot here, so I'm going to pass down. I'll go through here. Go through this side, and then come up right here, make a loop, go through the loop twice, okay, pull that knot down, and then pass up through the 4, okay, and then pass through this 3. So we're just avoiding really going through the 2mm gemstone beads because the holes are tiny. So I'm going to keep going, using up as much tail as I can, reinforcing, going through this outside edge, and then once I go all the way around, using up my tail, you know, making it durable, I'm going to go to this thread here, and I'm going to go through, tie knot, go through this bead, if there's not a knot there. No, I don't see a knot there. So tie a knot, go through the 6, and then go through the 11, and then go through the 3mm, and then tie a knot in front of this 4, go through the 11, tie a knot in front of that 4, go through that bead, and then, you know, just keep going, doing the same thing that I'm doing with this thread right now, and then I'll be all done, and that's it. And there is our bangle. It is so pretty. It slides right on. I like the colors a lot. I don't think I would put these colors together normally, but because they were in a box, I just put the colors together and I liked it, and I went with it. So this is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you found the alternatives helpful. And give this bangle a try. It's a lot of fun, and try using some different beads in your stash and see what you can come up with. Try bicones. See what that's like. 4mm bicones instead of Czech fire polish beads. And you could even do a bicone there in place of the melon if you want. You can play around with the shapes of beads. You just want to do the same size for this design here. So this is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.